yenu ebulaya ate nga front y'ebulaya mwe mwina role nene eyokulinga mumbere mwe bali nyumwe bali edala.
So we are going to balance. You have a question, yes, sir.
Hi, Jay Gears, just independent media with Samuel Kitsitu. I've got a few questions, but I'll ask them like in a series throughout the event. I was just wondering, what does a truly free Uganda look like politically, culturally, and emotionally, as well as democratically? What does it look like to you? Do you want me to ask all three of the questions, actually?
Yeah, maybe.
And then the other one is, what do you believe allows Uganda's military regime to stay in power after these 4 very long decades of just suffering and slaughter? And Canadian companies are deeply involved in resource extraction across Africa and across the world. What would you want people here and abroad?
Just a minute, please.
Sorry.
Yes, please ask the third question.
Yeah. What would you want people here to understand about how that relates to repression back home as well as here, and what they should do about it? And the final one is, you've spoken about a new Uganda, and I asked this slightly a bit before, but I want to be a bit more specific. And what does this new Uganda look like with governance and democratic models? And that's all my questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. The first question you asked in a way relates to the last, but I'll try to give them context. Number one, what is our image of a free Uganda? A free Uganda is where everybody is equal before and under the law, where people enjoy their human dignity and their God-given rights as internationally spelled, where a person does not have to worry about criticizing or disagreeing with the powers that be. A place where all people are free to be themselves, to worship the way they believe, to live the way they believe. Where people have basic human dignity. That's what I call freedom. Freedom to be and freedom to exist. That's my vision of a free Uganda, where people are not ruled by politicians, but the other way around, where leaders are servants and people are the true bosses, where people can elevate a leader and also bring down a leader, where they can vote a leader into power and vote him or her out of power. That's what I call freedom, where the laws that are written are the laws that are practiced. That's the image of freedom that I see in Uganda. And yes, what allows the Ugandan military to do all manner of wrong things and get away with it? It's 2 things. Number one is impunity, the lawlessness, the unanswerability to the law, the family rule. You see, the challenge with family rule is that the family that is in power is always above the law. So that's the impunity that we have, where a military officer or a positioned person in the military can do as they wish, where the law is nothing more than the paper on which it's written. So the impunity and complete disregard of the rule of law is what allows our military to conduct itself the way it is and to take over state affairs. It is impunity. But also, it is the complacency and hypocrisy of the international community, always singing about human rights and democracy, but never willing to hold to account their business partners, their stooges. I believe that most dictators in Africa are stooges of the international community. They are puppets of the international community, where these countries have, for lack of a better word, neo-colonialistic interests in Africa, where they exploit our natural resources courtesy of these dictators, because the dictators know that they are protected and their evils and atrocities are happening, but the international community is closing an eye to them. So the complacency of the international community is what has allowed the military in Uganda to do all these things. I mean, one great writer said that the world is getting messed up not because the bad people are so active, but because the good people are so inactive and silent. So the silence and complacency of the international community has played a great role to the militarism in Uganda in particular and Africa in general, but also the impunity and lawlessness, that culture of lawlessness and unanswerability to the law has caused the dire situation in Uganda. What do we want Canadians to know? And what do we want Canadians to do? First, I want Canadians to know that we appreciate them for hosting and embracing our brothers and sisters. We don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
We know that we have so many places in Africa, our own fatherland, our own motherland, where we've not gotten this kind of welcome. We have countries in Africa where there are xenophobic attacks against fellow African people. So I think it's only moral to salute the people of Canada and to ask them to keep that culture of welcome. Maybe one day they will need us and we shall return the favor, without a doubt. I want the people of Canada to know that actually our oppression and suffering is not very detached from them. You see, Canada is one of the countries that relate with Uganda in terms of development, and indeed a substantial amount of aid comes from the Canadian administration to Uganda. But that's not government, that's not politicians' money, that's taxpayers' money. The money that's given to the Ugandan dictator and later on channeled to efforts of subjugating people, that is taxpayers' money. So you as a Canadian, whether you know or you don't know, you actually contribute to our suffering. You pay for it. Yes, through your taxpayers' money. I want them to know that there is a country, the most beautiful country on earth, the Pearl of Africa, Uganda, with 49 million people, that is suffering to free itself from a 40-year military dictatorship. And their attention is paramount. Just their attention. What do we want them to do? First of all, not to take away their attention from us. Just to see that I'm speaking to a Canadian camera, which is in turn going to broadcast this, my humble message to them. It's a great thing. It's a great opportunity. Please keep your attention on us. Democracy dies in the dark. But when we have attention from various countries, then we probably stand a chance of saving this, our country. Maybe if there was no international attention, I would be long buried. But I'm stubbornly still alive because you people have stubbornly kept your attention, not just on me, but on the entire cause that we lead.
Yeah.
And secondly, and most importantly, there's a request that you Canadians have the liberty, the luxury of freedom, the luxury of being able to call out your leaders and challenge them whenever they misuse or misdirect your taxpayers' money. Please call them out about associating with a known autocrat. And remind them, your leaders, that when they don't do that, whenever they stand with a known autocrat, with a known human rights violator, they are actually being partners in crime. That's my humble message today. I thank you. Oh yeah, sorry, very last question. Our vision of a new Uganda. Man, the new Uganda, now I want you to imagine